Beyond the head of the table were windows looking out onto the farmhouse's kitchen garden, currently bare and dead, and rolling fields and hedgerows beyond that. Seated at the head of the table with his back to that view, enjoying a cup of café crème and reading a French newspaper, was our old friend, Frederick Fugger. As before, he was dressed in an impeccable gray suit, though as a nod to the rustic setting, he was wearing a turtleneck sweater instead of a shirt and tie.
"Todd's been seen to," he said. "We homed him before moving the atoll. Anne-Marie is in town shopping for groceries at our suggestion."
"At 5 in the morning?" I said, dumbfounded.
"It's after 8,
protested Frederick pleasantly.
"You own the grocers," Tristan guessed. "Not literally. Please, make yourself comfortable. The coffee is nice and hot and the cream is fresh."
My eyes met Tristan's. He shrugged. There was no reason not to. For a minute or two, we busied ourselves pouring coffee and cream, then took seats. Frederick finished the article he was reading, then folded the paper neatly and arranged it on the cracked and weathered planks of the old table.
"I wanted to be the first to congratulate you on the rescue of Dr. Stokes," he said. "The two of you look very happy together. I've taken the liberty of ordering a bottle of 1851 Chateau Miqueux to be delivered to your room. A very old vintage, obviously. But it's been well cellared, and I hope it is still drinkable."
"We'll let you know if it passes muster," Tristan said dryly.
"Please do,"
Frederick returned.
"The winery has been a property of the Fuggers since Roman times and has a high standard to uphold."
"Does it?" I asked. "I've never heard of it."
Frederick smiled. "You wouldn't have. It is a private concern. Its proceeds are consumed entirely within the bank and do not appear on the retail market."
"Well, thank you for the gift," I said. And I was tempted to add something like, "It's the least you could do after stealing our D.O.D.O." But I held back. It wasn't really our D.O.D.O. after all. Frederick cleared his throat.
"I'd like to bring to your attention certain perhaps unintended consequences of your recent actions that you might have overlooked. Given the rush of events and given, if I may speak frankly, a certain naivete about matters financial that is entirely understandable given that you have devoted your lives to the study of other topics. Fortunately, the world contains some people who specialize in such matters, and I happen to be one of them."
"All right," Tristan said. "Let's have it."
"Briefly," Frederick said, "it's unthinkable for the atoll to be floating around loose. Dire consequences would ensue."
"For whom?" I asked. Not disagreeing with him, just wanting details.
"Dire consequences."
"For us? For the Fuggers? On this strand, other strands?"
"It's all the same," he said. "Surely after all you've been through, you have arrived at a level of sophistication where this is obvious to you. You simply haven't admitted it to yourself yet."
"I've been a little preoccupied, as you pointed out," I said, "and the coffee hasn't kicked in yet." He picked up his newspaper, one of those financial rags only read by investment types. He unfolded it, thumbed to the back pages, and then, with a big dramatic movement, snapped the whole newspaper inside out to display a page completely covered with numbers so tiny that they just looked like a gray fog from this distance.
"Look at all of this information," he said. "Where does it come from? What does it mean? The changes in the prices of these stocks and commodities and bonds all reflect flows of information. Information about the weather, politics, trends in what consumers want, discovery of new oil fields, invention of new technologies. You grew up, like most people, believing that it was all confined to a single strand, that there was only one copy of the world. Now you know the truth, that information flows not just along a particular strand, but between them, all the time, in subtle ways known only to a few. We're bankers. That is really all we are. If you've been imagining some sort of fabulous conspiracy, you are in for a disappointment. Bankers, you see, don't actually do very much. We take our percentage. That is all. We subsist on movements of money across space, across time, and between strands. How does money move between strands? Tristan asked. Frederick looked a little pained. I'm not going to tell you everything. Ooh, a riddle, I said. Let me think. Information moves between strands. Prices change in response to information. Money moves in response to prices. Frederick had a good poker face. And right now, Tristan said, a big chunk of information is moved into the past in the form of treasure maps carved into the backs of Magnus and his crew. Longships are going to be heading across the Atlantic to raid Mexico and Peru and bring their gold and silver back to Europe. The changes made to history will be incalculable. And the Fugger policy on all of this is what exactly? There's no point in getting emotional about it, Frederick said. Money will flow where money will flow. And you'll collect your percentage, I said. The most we can really do is manage these things as best we can, Frederick said. Magnus's ship has quite literally sailed. We cannot undo that. But for a legion of Athos to be moving freely about the world, and witches and Normans and seals popping in and out of them, he shuddered, there would be sheer all over the place. And sheer destroys things. And destroyed things don't make money, Tristan said. A burning factory cannot ship product. What does this mean for us? I asked. Frederick shrugged. Some strands will go the way that Grania and Magnus wants them to go. In other strands, their plans may be frustrated. Your level of involvement is up to you. Now that we have our own D.O.D.O, you mean? I said. In the East House basement. He made the slightest of nods. You're welcome, by the way.